As we rapidly approach the full reveal of the Galaxy Z Fold 6, I guess Z Flip 6 as well, news continues to roll out. Today we have two pieces of news, one that is good, one that I think is not good. Let's start with the first one here. We have this post from Ice Universe over there on Twitter. The new AI of Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 will realize this function before Apple Graffiti becomes an image. So let me tell you exactly what they're talking about here. This is an image, I think this was taken from Apple's WWDC presentation, and what they're showing here is the ability to make a rough sketch. By the way, that's not a very rough sketch for me. That's far better than I could have possibly ever done. It uses generative AI, though, to turn that rough sketch into a proper image, which can be sort of modified and so forth. Apple talked about turning sketches into images, using words to create images, so forth and so on. But specifically here, he's referring to graffiti becomes an image. So obviously, he does not speak English as their first language, so a little bit kind of strange word in there, but meaning you can sketch something and it will then generate an image based on this. They also say this will be coming to older devices later, S24 and S23 series. Presumably older Z Folds could be receiving this sort of functionality as well. This is actually really, really cool to me. The idea that with an S Pen, the larger canvas of these fold devices, you're going to be able to quickly sketch out a general idea of what you're trying to make, and it will just make that thing for you in like high quality. That is really, really cool. I love seeing these companies making more and more sort of logical and actually useful ways to use AI. I think in the earlier days, which we're still in the early days, but you know what I mean, early. It was just a lot of shoehorning an LLM into random places, right? It was like, let's put Copilot in the browser. Let's put Copilot in the keyboard. Let's put, whatever. Not to just sort of pick on Microsoft, but you know what I mean. They were just shoving these LLMs into every possible crevice. And now it seems like we're sort of figuring out, like, okay, where is this AI stuff actually going to be useful? I think Apple did a great job with that, with their presentation. Some of the things that they're doing is extremely impressive, and I think that Samsung there is on the right track. But a place that Samsung is not on the right track comes from this article, smartpre.com, Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 US pricing and variants revealed. So if you're not super familiar with SmartPre, I would understand that, but what's important here is the source of this information. They said they got this information from OnLeaks. OnLeaks is one of the most reputable tech leakers around. In fact, these renders that we got months back about the Z Fold 6, which have ended up being, I think, pretty much definitively confirmed to be accurate, did indeed come from OnLeaks. Let's just scroll down here and we're going to get straight into this. Here are the variants and the prices for the Z Fold 6. These are in dollars. These are the American prices. And as you can see here, Z Fold 6, 256 gigabytes, $18.99. Yes, indeed, the price has gone up by $100. And you can see 512 is now $2,019, 1 terabyte, $22.59. These are like eye-watering prices. I gotta tell you, I'm disappointed to see the price going in the wrong direction. There's been a lot of talk about how sort of iterative the releases of these Z Fold devices have been. The camera setup remaining the same now for a third straight year. We don't have a lot, at least as far as we can tell, changing about this device right now. Obviously, the physical perspective, it is much boxier than it was before. It looks much more like the S24 Ultra. The cover display is getting ever so slightly wider just by the virtue of the space next to the cover display getting smaller. Otherwise, really not a whole lot is changing here. It's a newer processor. It always is. And of course, you can assume there's going to be a ton of AI stuff packed in. Probably a whole slew of AI features like the one that I just mentioned. I don't know, maybe a lot of the stuff is going to be running in the cloud and they're trying to offset server costs by, I don't know, maybe there's something like that going on. This is, though, to me, quite disappointing. They do mention 3 colors, navy, silver, and pink, which is interesting. Kind of excited to see what a pink Z Fold 6 is going to look like. One good thing, though, 239 grams is really quite solid, significantly lighter than its predecessor, which was 253 grams. Just because I'm curious, let's look at the OnePlus Open on GSM Arena. 239 grams. So we're talking about the exact same weight as the OnePlus Open. That is a really big deal. Everybody praised how light this thing was. That's one of the things that annoys people most about the Pixel Fold, is that it's pretty hefty. This is not going to be that. Z Fold 6 will ship with a 7.6-inch primary display. Let's be honest though, all eyes are going to be on that price. The fact that it is moving in the wrong direction. Rather than this foldable getting cheaper, it is getting more expensive. As again, we've talked about how sort of iterative it is. That is even a harder pill to swallow. But if we think about this year, 2024, and what kind of competition they're going to be facing, we have heard those rumors that a OnePlus Open 2 is not coming this year. It's going to be held and released the following year. So they don't have competition necessarily from OnePlus. However, if I am OnePlus/Oppo, I can tell you what I'm doing. I am making very, very sure that I spend the next year adding as many features to the Oxygen OS or Color OS feature set as possible, as much AI stuff as possible, and I am heavily advertising the price of this device being somewhere around $1,400, something like that. I'm going to have it as cheap as I can reasonably get it. I'm going to be showing off all these new features, and that will still be competitive with the Z Fold 5, because let's be honest, this is going to still have superior camera hardware. That doesn't mean superior camera performance, but the hardware is still phenomenal. The processor, yes, it's going to be a generation older, but it's still going to be very, very fast and very, very competitive. The weight is going to be very... Look, if you just break down the hardware, it's going to still be pretty much right there with the Z Fold 6, and it's going to be now potentially, what, $300, $400, $500 cheaper. Again, if I'm OnePlus, I know what my strategy is going to be. For Google, things are different because they are going to be releasing a Pixel Fold 2. So now the question becomes, what do they do with the price? Do they see this opportunity to raise their price, get another $100 per foldable, or do they see the opportunity to keep the price the same or even lower it, which is doubtful to me, but keep it the same, and now you've undercut them by $100, assuming that this leak is true. All of this is assuming that the leaks are true. OnLeaks is pretty reputable, but you do have to kind of put that caveat out there. It's going to be very interesting to watch how all of this sort of shakes out over the next few months. Again, we don't have too long to wait for the Z Fold 6 and really for the Pixel as well. The fall is rapidly approaching, summer for this and fall for the Pixel, so we'll know pretty soon. But I do want to hear from you guys. What do you think about this in the comments down below? Does that extra $100 mean a lot to you? Do you look at it and say $1,800, $1,900? What's $100 when you're talking about $2,000? Let me know what you think, what the impact of this will be in the comments down below, guys. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more content just like this. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.